Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews, and this is Refuge from Narcissism. And this refugee video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And here's his story. Hi, Ollie. You've been having some drama with borderlines recently. You've been talking about how borderline behavior is premeditated or calculated. I've also seen some videos recently where you've diagnosed some contributors problem people as borderlines instead of narcissists. And again, let me just I don't diagnose anybody with anything. Everything I say here is opinion. Is opinion, and people are writing in for validation. I am not diagnosing anything. I may say, yeah, it's borderline or histrionic or NPD or whatever, but it's all based on my opinion. So I just want to, again, I know why, I know what you mean, I know what you're saying, diagnose, but full disclosure, again, and I'm going to keep saying it, it's all my opinion based on my experience. Yeah, you're not a shrink. Can't diagnose without a certified 6-year degree, super doctorate master's study program authorized by blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Formal education can be valuable, but in my opinion, experience is the best expertise. Anyways, I would like to hear you talk about your definition and criteria for a borderline and what is going on in their heads. My understanding of borderlines is that they are people with no superego or a malevolent superego, with an ego completely and totally enslaved by their ID. In practical terms, they are endlessly boiling over emotion whose rational side only exists to rationalize whatever the hell they emotionally want at any given time. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, dealing with a borderline, and this is my mother. My mother was probably the most extreme of the extreme borderlines. Okay? It's never having an off switch. My mother had no off switch whatsoever. She is in battle mode at all times. There are always, look, the borderline is always at yellow alert. Is always at yellow alert. Okay? They could go to red, and they are ready to go to red alert at a moment's notice. The borderline's brain works almost as like a sentinel system, as an alarm system, constantly in yellow alert, constantly looking to be offended, aggrieved, that it is out for entitlement protection. So if you do anything that upsets something they believe that they are completely entitled to, you are going to red alert in a heartbeat. Their egos, okay? Listen, this canard, this lie that the borderline, that the borderline is, it's all about self-hate and self-hate and self-esteem, and it's all directed inwards, is bullshit. Is bullshit. The borderlines have the biggest egos among us. It takes a set of balls for them to do the things that they do, for them to go out and claim the entitlement that they all go out and claim, and then will act like you're crazy for even questioning them. You are dealing with a borderline is dealing with somebody who's constantly in yellow alert, ready to go off. It's like dealing with a motion sensor. Their emotion, it's like soon as you trip on like the slightest movement, boom, there it goes, off. And there you are, red alert. Red alert. They're good at emotional sucker punches, not so good at long-term planning. Well, it depends what you mean by long-term planning. If you're talking about long-term planning in their life, like financial and stuff like that, don't know. But it's quite the opposite if you're talking about when they're having an argument or you're in battle with them, the things they're saying. If you're trying to say they're just coming off the cuff, some of them might. Some of them are seeds that have been planted decades ago. And they store those, and this is part of where the NPD comes in, why it's all part of the narcissism spectrum as well, because every narcissist, okay, every narcissist stores information on you, okay, in their mind. Every narcissist makes statements or says things at certain periods of time that you don't pick up on, okay, that may never be activated, but are just said just in case years down the road I need to flip a switch, I need to turn that on. They have seeds. They have fail-safes buried everywhere throughout your interactions with them throughout your life that go back decades, years, months, decades sometimes. That they know how to flip on you at the right place, at the right time, for the right effect. They're masters at it. They're master long-term planners. They don't necessarily plan to have, it's all in case of, they're all contingency plans. They're all fail-safes for them to activate when they need them. So they are very good long-term planners. Case in point, I lost my V card to a borderline. Right after sex and a bit before came the endless flood of drama and self-pity intended to make me stay. I had to get to class the next day and she responded with self-harm. She kept me up for several days straight with this crap. This is what they do. And this is where the time rape comes in. It's all about occupying your time through histrionics, through threats, through I'm going to kill myself. It's all just to wear you down and wear you down. And this is what the borderline does. They make it all about themselves. And if you reject them, you reject me, I'm going to kill myself. No, you're not. No, you are not. The only time a borderline actually goes through with suicide is when they fuck up. When they fuck up the attempt for attention. That's when. The borderline does not want to kill themselves. They do not. It's all they can do is suicide attempts. It's always an attempt. It's all, they don't want to die, and they know they don't want to die. They know when they're doing these suicide attempts, they're not really trying to kill themselves. They know it. The only ones who actually kill themselves are the ones who fuck up. She kept me up several days straight with this crap. Logically, I would have stayed with her longer and wouldn't have ghosted after a week of this if she had been able to rein it in a bit. The self-harm and the suicide threats make sense in the context of someone feeling abandoned. No. She wasn't feeling abandoned. She was trying to get control over you. Well, in a way, it's not so much abandonment from the borderline where they're feeling abandoned. Look, and this goes into, again, borderline women putting all their, and here's where they do put all their value in their vaginas. And what that means is, again, they put all their self-worth and all their value into who wants to fuck them. Period. So once you have sex with a borderline female, okay, the only time you're going to hit the borderline, take a hit to the borderline's ego, is when she gives it up. God damn this phone. Oh, I can't talk to you right now, dude. The only time is when she gives it up, okay, and then you don't let her monopolize your every second of your life. Because when the borderline gives it up to you, she thinks she owns you at that time. She owns you. She owns your time. She owns you. To her, that is a contract to accept her fucking bullshit for life. For life, because what she really wants to do is rape your time. So the only time they really do have a shot at their ego is when after they sleep with somebody, and then they don't want to give them 100% of their time. It's not an abandonment feeling. It's not. It's anger. Like, I just gave you the greatest. It's anger. It's not abandonment. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. They're not victims. They are cold and they are calculating through all of this. All of it. Okay. The self-harm and the suicide threats make sense in the context of somebody feeling abandoned. They also make sense in the context of someone who lacks object consistency and any sense of self-control. It's normal to feel abandoned even if the person leaving has a perfectly logical reason to do so. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Once she gives it up, once the borderline female has sex with you, okay, there is no logical reason for leaving. Everything else, then her pussy then trumps everything else in your life. In her mind, I've just given you the greatest gift. I gave you my vag. I gave you my vag. And if she knew she took your V-chip, your V-card, and you're trying to leave, holy shit. Holy shit, is she pissed. Dude, you're supposed to be a servant for her for life, until she's done with you. The only way you get to leave is when she tells you you can leave after that. Sane people are able to audit their feelings and put them in context. Borderlines are not. Example, my best friend and former roommate moved in with his girlfriend. I really miss hanging out with him all the time, but I'm really happy for him. If I were a borderline, I would try to sabotage the relationship instead of encouraging it. Right, look, you don't want to unless she proves herself to be a raging succubus, okay, you don't want to cock block your friends. Like, you don't. Because eventually you're going to meet somebody that you want to be with, and, it's a revolving door. It's a revolving door. Anyways, I would like you to elaborate on the psychology of the borderline. I think you've picked up on something official experts have missed. At this point, I have a lot of pity for them, but understand there's nothing I could do for them, and plenty of harm they can and will do for me. Like someone who is permanently blackout drunk. Right. Constantly in yellow alert. That's the borderline. Constantly in yellow alert. It's like being blackout drunk. You don't know what they're going to do, but you know it's coming. You know it's coming. You know when somebody gets to that blackout drunk stage and like, oh boy, it's coming. Obviously, we have very different ideas about what they are, and I'd love to hear your take. Thanks for everything you do. Anonymous. P.S. Yeah, I know if I wound up with a borderline for any length of time, I probably have a history of psychological abuse. That's for a later video. Thanks. Yeah, you would have, but the one you did end up with had enough of an impact on you. You were like, wow, that's fucked up. Let me write in about this. Look, borderline women, okay, put all of their value into their looks, okay, into who wants to sleep with them. Because they're really competing with each other. Women compete with other women horribly, in the first place. You throw borderline personality disorder on top of that, hoo boy. Understand, you're you're mistaking, and a lot of people do, this abandonment with rage. Okay? The abandonment is not because, oh my God, he's never going to call me again. No. They're mad. They're mad. They're mad. Because her goal, okay, was to occupy all your time with her histrionic bullshit. That was her goal. That was her goal. So if she gives up, the V, okay, and you fall in love with it, and then you're a simp daddy, okay, message, mission accomplished. Okay, and then if you try to leave at a time that she deems too soon, which is going to be always, because you can't win with the borderline, okay, she gets to then get you to fall to your knees through her fucking histrionic carrying on and bullshit. It's all part of the game. It's all part of the plan. They are excellent planners for the future. Okay? Because when she's having these fits and these breakdowns, I'm sure she's bringing up things she told you in the past, regardless of, how short or you were with this girl. Okay? I even told you such and such, and blah, 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 blah. This is how, right? This is how it goes. Seeds that she deliberately planted there to be activated at a later time if need be. Constantly in yellow alert. Constantly in yellow alert. And the slightest movement, the slightest offense, the slightest anything flips that shit to red alert, and look out. Armed photon torpedoes for all you Star Trek fans. Because there ain't no shields. You don't got a shield. Okay? You ain't got a shield. The only shield is warp speed the fuck on out of there. Okay? Anonymous, that's it. So, I hope that helped. Thank you so much for your contribution, Anonymous, and your question. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype phone call, have a private video made, or you'd just like to make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away, as this channel is completely demonetized from YouTube. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't on here and on Rumble. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care.